Hey, I want to share with you today the two words that will kill all of your body goals in a heartbeat. Hey, it's Greg, and I am the founder of Greg Foreign Coaching and the person who runs and coaches ladies to become the empowered body with the empowered mind and actually get the results they really want. So, I'm going to dive in and go to a story first of all to talk about this because this is a real big thing. Because here's the thing, right? And I'm going to share a story that will help you understand this. Here's the thing that words have power. Okay, words have power. And what often happens is that people have all of these words in their head that just cause them to go into a panic. All right. And I'm going to share the two words that do that in a second. So, anyway, I was talking to a client, and this client had been on a weight loss journey, wanted to lose some weight, feel good about herself, get her energy back so she could then perform at work, but also be able to do things with her family as well. So she had the energy to do it and she felt confident, right? And she had pets. If you're watching live, say hi. She had pets, right? So she had a dog. Okay. Now, I'm not a dog lover that much, but they're all cool. But she had a dog, right? And what happened was that the dog had put on some weight. Okay. And as we first started to talk and we did our first coaching call, one of the words that kept coming up, and this is one of the words, the other one's coming up in a second. One of the words that kept coming up was the word diet. So she would say things like, I hate the word diet. Um, I don't do diets. Um, I don't follow any diet. And that was immediately something that I wanted to just really focus on because my clients now aren't scared of the word diet. They're not scared because there's nothing to be scared of. So I said, okay, hey Donna, let's switch the conversation. So I said, okay, your dog, what did the vet say you had to do? She said, well, the vet said that I need to monitor its diet and maybe give it more exercise. And I said, oh, it's really interesting that you use the word diet with yourself, with the dog, but you won't use it with yourself. Okay. So if the word diet has always caused a little thing in your head, just comment me below. Just let me know that I'm on the right track. If the word diet sends chills down your spine or makes you think, oh no, a diet, this is going to really, really help you. Okay. So I said, okay, great. You know, the vet has said that you need to sort out the dog's diet. So I said, right, let's talk about the dog. Okay. So what are you gonna do? He said, well, I'm gonna maybe not give it so many treats. I'm gonna restrict his meal times. Okay. And I said, well, here's a question. You love your dog, right? She said, yeah. I said, okay, great. So why are you putting your dog on a diet but not yourself? And immediately her head was like, oh my God, let me process this. And then it was funny because she said, well, with a dog, it's different, isn't it? And I said, well, how is it different? A dog is a being that not really. Donna says no, not really, because I've worked with you for a long time. See, Donna knows this is the power of how I get my clients to think differently from everyone else. So I said, okay, cool. So the dog is someone is, you love the dog. And I know people who have dogs. If you love your dogs more than your family sometimes, right? So I said, well, okay. So I don't understand why you would use the word diet with your dog, but not with you. He said, I've never really thought about that. I said, okay, well, let's talk about it, right? Because the power of the work that I do is not just the nutrition and the training, it's also to understand the stories and facts you have in your head that stop you from making progress. Okay. Because most of the ladies that have come to work with me have probably had a diet mindset anyway. Even though they say they don't do diets, even though they say, oh, you know what, I don't believe in diets, 99% of the time you go into it with a diet mindset. So actually you can never achieve the transformation because as soon as you start thinking, I'm going to have to start changing my life, I'm going to start doing things, even though you don't believe in diets, your brain has already said, uh-oh, diet alert. Tell me if I'm wrong. Comment below. Tell me if I'm wrong. All right. Tell me if I'm wrong. All right. So here's the thing. This is the real big thing. We then talked about what was actually she associated with the word diet. So I got her to talk me through what she meant by the word diet. What do you mean by the word diet? Sorry, Don, we can catch up. What do you mean by the word diet? She was like, oh, well, it's something that you try for a short time and then you stop. I said, great, okay. So how many times have you tried this? And she was like, oh, probably 20, 30 times. I said, awesome. Okay. So I said, here's a question that you want to just ask yourself. This change that you're about to embark on, is this a change that you want to make for the rest of your life? So you're happy, healthy, fit for the rest of your life? And she said, yes. I went, okay, awesome. So let me understand, what are you going to do for your dog? Are you going to keep the dog on the diet? She said, well, yeah, I'm going to make sure that the dog has a really good diet and doesn't eat too much and the rest of it. I said, okay, so what's the difference between the dog's diet and your diet? Of course, the dog eats pedigree chum, right? Um, and we probably don't eat pedigree chum, although it's probably just as nutritious, right? Judging by food today. So I said, well, here's a question we need to just really think about. Does the word diet mean failure to you? The brain cells were ticking. It was like, wow. I said, well, yeah, it does. I said, okay. I said, well, does it, or does it mean that in the past you just haven't fully committed to yourself? Because what you've done is you've tried things that you know in your mind have a short time span. Because let's be honest, ladies, when you go into a weight loss situation, one of the key things you always look for is how long will it take? So it's the question I hear like so often, like, Greg, how long will it take me to get to X? And I get it. That's how the human brain works. The human brain likes to have ends of how things are going to work, right? But if you already go into it with a question of how long is it going to take, then you've already got a diet mentality. That makes sense. So even if you don't believe in diets, even though you're the person that says, oh, yeah, there's no such thing as diets, I don't believe in diets. If your question is already, oh, how long is this going to take? Then you're going to be in trouble already because you've already got the diet mindset already plugged in to your mind already. Whether you say you believe in diets or not, doesn't matter. Okay, so you're already coming into it with a diet mind. Exactly. How long's a piece of string? So I said this. So let me understand then. You've tried all of these fads in the fullness knowing that actually they are short-term things, but yet you want it to be a lifestyle thing. She said, yes. I went, right. So I'm going to show you something. So I opened up my phone and I showed her the true meaning of the word diet. Oh, she said, I didn't understand that. And what diet means is, all diet means is what you eat habitually. Okay. So I said, right. So I want you to think about this now, that everybody you know has a diet. I think her head was going to blow off. It was like, oh my God. Like everybody? I'm like, yeah, everyone in the world right now has a diet. Everyone in the world is on a diet. The diet they are currently on is either making their life better, keeping it the same, or making things worse. It's giving them pains, it's giving them weight gain, it's giving them acid reflux, etc., including the dog, right? Everything on this planet has a diet. And she was like, "Oh my God, I never thought about that." So I said, "Right, well, is diet really a bad word, or is it just the way that you sometimes maybe approach how you change yourself in a very short-term format?" At that point, the tears came down. It was quite emotional for her and totally understandable, right? Because if you don't do that deep work, then you never get the results, right? I'm not saying you have to cry every time we talk. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if you don't go deep and understand what's really going on, the narrative around diet, okay, is just a four-letter word. Yeah. And it's no worse than, hey, Yinka, the word diet is no worse than a swear word. It's no better than a swear word. It's a word. The issue for most people is how they process that word. So, like, if I use Yinka's word for example, right? You say money. To some people, that's a great word. To some people, that's a terrible word. They're like money, and they start to shut down. They get nervous and everything. Hey, Yinka. So it's not about the word. It's actually about how your stories interpret that word and the experiences you've got around that word. So I said, right, okay. So now I said, are you willing to change your diet now for life? Instantly, yes. Okay. So now she no longer is worried about the word diet. There's less chance of her failing because she doesn't think that she's on a diet because she knows that her diet is for life. Yeah, you're right, Donna. It's those eureka moments that make you just go, wow, the light bulbs go off, right? And we work together. Yeah. So my role in all of this, ladies, is to help you understand that the word diet might dig up some stories, okay? But you only get transformation if you start dealing with those stories. Because if you keep trying to avoid the word diet, like the mental gymnastics people go through to try not to say the word diet, it's crazy. Well, I like to style it as this and I like to style it as that. You're just doing mental gymnastics, ladies. Diet is just something that every one of us, if you're watching this live now, you are on a diet. And that diet is only doing three things. It's either making you happy and healthy, keeping you as you are, or making things worse for you. Simple as that. So, who can guess in the comments what the other word I'm going to use is? What's the other word that I'm going to use? So, there's diet and there's one more word. Drop a comment with what you think that word is. Drop a comment and let me know what you think that next word is that I'm going to use. Let's see what guesses we get. What's the other word that we're going to talk about today? Let's see who gets it. Exercise? No, almost. It's close to the word diet. It's very close. Okay. So the other word that I'm going to mention then is restriction. Oh, I don't like restriction. I don't want to be restricted in whatever. Ladies, here's the thing. There is this big anti-diet movement in the world right now, and it's sexy to be I'm an anti-diet coach, right? But let's be honest, right? In no method or way of nutrition can you eat 25 chocolate bars and it be anti-diet, okay? You're gonna have to restrict some of your intake of your sweet fatty foods. True story, right? So what is the thing about this word restriction? Because in everyday life you have to restrict things. If you want to be the best or want to improve any aspect of your life, you are going to have to restrict something. You may have to restrict sitting on the sofa, falling asleep, watching Netflix all night in order to get better sleep. You may have to restrict going out drinking or drinking that four bottles, that bottle of wine that you always have every night in order to get your liver working properly. Okay? Ladies, if you have children, you restrict your kids from the internet. You restrict them from running out into the road. Okay? Again, like the word diet, restriction, it's all a mental game. It's all what you've got in your head about how you failed before, because oftentimes I think we're looking for a way out of actually doing the things that we actually say we want to do. We're actually looking for a way out of doing the things we want to do. So we put these barriers up. No, I don't believe in diets. No, I don't want to be restricted. But actually, what's happened is over time, because of there's been numerous failures, and I get it, numerous failures, got these things in your brain. Oh, and yeah, there's no such thing as balance. Balance is also one of those myths that I think everyone talks about, because the person that is happy and healthy and having the energy they want for their work, their relationships, their experiences in life, restricts activities that do not meet that criteria. Really simple. Am I wrong? If I'm wrong, comment below. If I'm right, tell me I'm right. But those are the two words that if you have issues around any of those two words, then it doesn't matter what method of nutrition you go on, you're always going to struggle. And part of my program and how I work in the empowered body method is to show you that it's okay to not have everything. It's okay to not be like everybody else. Okay? Because I know what happens, right? Your friends will tell you, "Oh, you don't need to go on a diet. Don't diet. You're beautiful as you are." But you're the one who turns up for your job and you're tired, or you've got an awards dinner to go to, but you're uncomfortable in the dress. So yeah, things are gonna have to change. So what we need to do is start unraveling the stories behind the words diet and restriction. Because at the minute, what's happening for a lot of you is that those words have more power over you than you have over the words. And until you can calm the emotional reaction to those words, I'm not saying stop your emotions, by the way, that's not what we do. Okay, you need to acknowledge your emotions. But if you can get to a stage where certain words do not have power over you, you're going to make much more progress. That's a great wrap. Any questions, ladies? Whoops. Any questions on any of that? Does that all make sense? So, by the way, so this lady restricted her dog's food. So restricted, put the dog on a diet. The dog lost weight, and she just kept the dog at the same level of food, restricted him from treats, and guess what? The dog has stayed healthy for ages, just like the vet told her to. Crazy. But what she'd realized was that these words had so much power over her life, and that actually her diet can be anything she wants it to be. Ladies, your diet is anything you want it to be, but in always the way that it either your diet right now is either serving you or it's not serving you. Yeah, if it's giving you the energy you want, if it's giving you the ability to run after your kids, is it giving you the ability to wake up in the morning and be like, yes, I'm ready to be powerful in my day? Then your diet is serving you really well. Yes, I get it. There are people that have tried a diet strategy, which is what it is. Yeah, someone stuck a little label on it and said, if you follow this particular plan, you're going to lose weight, blah, blah, blah. And I get it. We've all been conned by it. It's okay. We're human. It's okay to make mistakes. But until you forgive yourself for those mistakes, you're always going to be thinking. And this is why people hop from program to program, right? They hop because they actually haven't let go of the past failures. They bring like Santa's sack. They bring in the sack of bad results they had beforehand, and it keeps them stuck. Like, I know Yinka's watching, right? Yinka is a great money coach, right? But if people walk into her program with baggage around money, too much baggage around money, then they'll just carry it through the program and they won't get the results that they really want, you know? And it's that thing of where people are so scared now to assess where they are. Like people are so scared of failing, not of the diet, of the failure, that they don't get results. So they bounce around. I'm going to do this program this week. I'm going to try keto next week. Because really, ladies, it doesn't really matter about the diet method. Okay. Like in your heart, and we can debate hormones and all that stuff another time. I'm happy to talk hormones. You know, I love talking about hormones. Okay. And most of these hormone experts wouldn't know a hormone if it hit them in the face. Just going to tell you the truth. Um, but here's the thing, right? We all know that every diet has one job and one job only, to limit the amount of energy coming into your body. That is all it is. That's why they have all these rules. Don't eat carbs, only eat before 6. You know, every diet. If you just get every diet in the world and just literally just put them together and said, right, and just compared them, you just see it's the same. Okay, there's nothing to do about hormones. There's no to do about hormones. Every diet from keto, low carb, high fat, it's all the same. Okay. And what happens is, because people walk into these diets almost with the failure attached sometimes that they've had before, they don't complete it. Don't complete it. They don't give it their all. Okay. And they find ways to self-sabotage because the diet mindset is already there. That's what the diet mindset is. The diet mindset is, I'm walking into something knowing it's got a expiration date of this quick. So that means after that couple of weeks, I can just give up and go back to how I'm feeling. It's an escape route. And what's really funny is I've actually made my programs longer. Because something I realized was this: my best clients work with me for a long time. Hmm. But when I used to do, back in the day, I used to do kind of short programs. Yeah, they would get awesome results. And I'd be like, yes, this person got great results in 6 weeks. As I matured and I work, with people that want to be successful in their whole lives, I started to see that this is not a short game. This is not about crowing about how you got results in 6 weeks and the rest of it. It's about how can I impact someone's life for the long haul. Okay. So I put the length of my program up. It's minimum 16 weeks. Done. Minimum. Because here's the thing. So many people jump on for 12 weeks and they do well. They do great. I've had people lose 20 pounds, 25 pounds. I've had people lose all sorts, right? Here's my thing. I want you to be able to have this as a foundation. And then what I find is that my clients work with me for much longer. They stay with me. A year later, they're still invested. They're still doing the work because they realize it's valuable. Okay. What I've seen is a lot of people just go into the shortest term program. In fact, I had a lady reach out to me recently. So, Greg, I've seen your work. I've had reviews about you. I've got friends that work with you. But I've just seen, and this is at the time my program was 12 weeks. She said, oh, but 12 weeks feels a bit too long. And I said, okay, 12 weeks feels too long. Okay, so what program will you do? She said, well, I found one at 6 weeks. I said, do you know what? That's great. I think you should do that. Because what will happen is, ladies, here's the thing: you have to do that short term blast for 6 weeks, and then you haven't embedded the mindset, you haven't embedded the lifestyle, you haven't embedded the habits. Oh, thank you, Donna. You haven't got the support when things get tricky after, week 7, when you're struggling again. They're like, oh, yeah, just go back to the beginning of the program. What? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Does not make sense. Do a 6 week program and then have to redo it all again in week 7 and then have to start going again. I want to work with ladies that want to evolve, and not just in their nutrition and their fitness. I want to help them evolve with their mindset, what they achieve in their life, their relationships, their relationship with themselves. Because Here's the thing, ladies, and this is the real big one I want to get you to take away. Your current nutrition, exercise, and health habits, well, they're all health habits, are all related to how you feel in your mind. And you can't change how you feel in your body without changing your mind, and your mind can't change without doing stuff with your body. The two are related. The two are intertwined so tightly. Yeah, it's all about habits, Yinka. And people talk about, oh, well, it only takes 21 days to change a habit. If you've got something that you've been working as a habit for such a long time, like brushing your teeth, right? Most people can go out on a night out, get drunk, go to bed, but the next morning, the first thing they do is brush their teeth. They might miss a night here or there, but the first thing, because it's so ingrained, right? So if you have an ingrained habit, and do you know what, ladies, if you want me to do a video about emotional eating, just comment yes below and I'll do that. But you've got to remember, right, that your brain has these neurons, right, that fire. So electrical impulses go from one to the other, and they're so entwined and so well connected that you have to break those habits, replace them with a new habit, and embed that new habit. Okay, you can't just keep changing things all the time, and that takes longer. You know, got think about it, ladies, right? I've got clients. Yeah, definitely, exactly, Yinka, and that's the thing, Yinka. It's like I work with clients for 16 weeks to over years. I've got clients. Got one client who's worked with me for 7 years. 7 years, crazy. I agree, Yinka. So and do you know what? You find the people that really want to excel at something, and the people who are like, yeah, I know I need to do this for the long term. I'm not just trying to do it for my holiday. I'm not just trying to do it. I'm trying to do it because I want to experience my life in the best way possible. So I know I'm going to need longer. So the habits come from the self-talk. Okay, the two are inextricably linked. Um, and I want to do a video or a live about emotional eating at some point because I'm going to say something very controversial. Most people, or most ladies that I work with who say they're emotional eaters aren't emotional eaters. Yeah, there you go, Donna. So that's, Jesus, that's 10 years on and off. Wow. So most people who say they are emotional eaters are not emotional eaters. Yes, there may be a state of emotion at the time, but in 90% of people, I'd argue that it's habitual eating, not emotional anymore. So we label ourselves emotional eaters when actually it's just become a habit. Because, hey, let's be honest, if I'm following you around your life, are you saying that every Thursday at 7 o'clock, your emotions cause you to get an Uber Eats? I'm pretty sure you experience things every different day, right? So, ladies, when you're moving into these things and you really want to transform, the transformation has to be about your brain, how you operate at your level, how you value self, because then in nutrition's easy. If we don't start talking about what's going on up here and your environment, the stories that you've got from way back when. Hey Lisa, if we don't start dealing with those things, then you don't get the change in your nutrition habits. It's very simple. You only eat to the level of your thinking. Yinka, yeah, go book a podcast, Yinka. Awesome. Like, yeah, you'll only eat nutrition to the level of your thinking. And I guess I'm just saying it publicly. I love working with ladies who just want more from their lives, who want to be able to get that extra energy, who want to be able to walk around and explore a new destination because they've got the strength, the fitness, and their body empowers them to be able to do that. Okay, we're done with the lose 20 pounds thing, because that's not really a thing. We're out here trying to change lives. And that's the empowered body method. Simple as that. Any questions, ladies, before I go? 30 minutes is up. Are there any questions? Has this live been useful? Is my big one, first of all. Just comment yes if it's, just give me a yes if it's been useful. Are there any questions before I go? But yeah, just to wrap up. So, ladies, if you are watching this and this has hit home for you and you want to know more about how we can work together, I do have some criteria. I will ask some questions. I want to understand you as a person and where you're at. And if you'll come to me with the classic, well, I want to lose a couple of stone, that's great. That's what everyone says. Everyone does that classic line, oh, I want to lose a couple of stone. Everyone says that. What I want to know is what's the dream? And we can work on that inside my program. We have this section where we work on the dream, because without the dream, you've got nothing to live for. You just continue habitually doing the things you do. Okay, most of the women that I work with have forgotten their dream. They've been absorbed by being mum, worker, friend, auntie, whatever, but they've forgotten who they are. And one of the parts of my program is we work on what's the dream, and we work on what's the value. Ingrida's in my gang, and yeah, we did a whole thing on what's your value. What do you really value? What do you care about? I want to know about that, because that will be the determinant whether you have the strong, fit, empowered body that you want, or you'll stay where you are or get worse. And the cost of getting worse is a lot. So I hope this has been useful. Tag someone in that you think needs to hear this. Someone who's maybe struggled with diets before, who maybe struggles with mindset. Tag them on this or share it, because I think it can help someone. But ladies, you don't have to be stuck behind the diet and restriction words. They are words. It's the stories behind those words that we got to fix. Talk to you soon. Stay strong.